Fiend Without a Face begins in an Air Force base in Canada, even though the film was entirely shot in Surrey, England, with an all-British cast, and it's a US Air Force. Where are we? And of course we're in worse Canada, Manitoba. Our main guy is Major Jeff Cummings.
You ever think of trying sleep instead of Benzedrine? You know, you might like it.
That's speed to you and me. So anyways, the Major is told that the base has a nuclear reactor because 50s, and the locals are kind of upset. He goes to talk to them about it, and oh my god, the radiation! We're gonna start looking like ghouls, man. And also, there's an invisible monster going around attacking people.
The invisible aliens! Look! There's one!
You can tell where they are, especially when they attack people. You have this really gross sound. Ewy, they're slurpy. They're going for their brains and their spines. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. This is the 50s. This is kind of risque, yo. And a scientist guy's looking into thought control. This leads into the 50s Stranger Things. They confront him. The locals confront the invisible monsters. This guy actually survives getting his brain sucked out, but he's dumb now. And it turns out, after a lot of discussing, the scientist guy created the invisible monsters by accident and with radiation and electricity because 50s, they were a byproduct of him trying to invent a thing so he can turn the pages of a book without actually using his hands. Wild. The stuff people did before audiobooks were invented. But then the radiation goes into hyperdrive and we finally see the invisible monsters. And the last 15 minutes of the film, we see that they're brain creatures who move around on their spines and they have little, antenna eyes. Not the weirdest design of the 50s, but still. I like their little stop motion moving around, that's fun. Then the film suddenly becomes a siege movie as everyone's bunkered in to fight off the brains. But the brains learned a lesson from Santa Claus and go down the chimney. Which leads into what makes this film special. The gore. Just look at it, it's all bubbly, ugh. This is probably the goriest film of its time. Just so many brains splattering and getting axed and just, listen to its sound.
Ooh, nasty.
Insane that they were allowed to get away with this in the 50s when basically everything was censored back then. The Major tries making a run for it to the reactor to shut it off. The doctor, I guess, just thought of the idea maybe he can control the brains, but it doesn't work. The Major decides to blow up the reactor. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Even when dissolving, the brains end up being disgusting. Ugh. And the day is saved. Well, until all that damn radiation we causes something worse. Final body count? 11 people and 12 to 45 brains. This movie is very typical of its time in some ways, with a lack of monster for half the film, a shoehorn in romance. Half the film is just actually boring looking people talking to each other and explaining stuff. But it picks up by the end, when we actually see the monster. And it's so gory and fun all of a sudden, it makes you think of this as more of a 70s movie. Overall, it's not great, but you can definitely do far worse for your time. It's free on YouTube if you're interested. 4.5 out of 10.